Hello, my dear kiddos. Hope you all are doing good. So today we are continuing with part 4. Yeah, yes, we are still in the PYQ Marathon 2024. 30 questions done. Here are the fourth set of 10 questions. Here goes the very first question, but before that, the concepts covered in the next 10 questions. Parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, xylem vessels, gymnosperms, angiosperms, plant tissue types, and vascular tissue system. Okay, let us begin. Here goes the first question. Given below are two statements. Statement 1, parenchyma is living but collenchyma is dead tissue. Statement 2, gymnosperms lack xylem vessels, but the presence of xylem vessels is the characteristics of angiosperms. In the light of the above statement, choose the correct answer from the options given below. Both statement 1, statement true or false. Both statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false. Statement 1 is false, statement 2 is true. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are true. What do you think, my dear kiddos? Yeah, read the statement, carefully pick the answer. Your time starts 3, 2, 1 right now. And your time is up. So here goes the answer. Statement 1 is definitely false. Why do you say that? Parenchyma is living and so is collenchyma. Both are living tissues, right? Sclerenchyma only is dead. These two are living. So they are saying collenchyma is dead, which is very wrong. So statement 1 is wrong. Gymnosperms lack xylem vessels, but presence of xylem vessels is the characteristics of angiosperms. So children, if you see, they lack xylem vessels. That is true. Okay, gymnosperms lack xylem vessels, but they have tracheids to perform the transport of water, right? But of course, angiosperms do have xylem vessels. So statement 2 is true. That is why the answer is option C. I have added the explanation slide. Yeah, statement 1 is incorrect because collenchyma is living, but they are calling it dead. Statement true, of course, gymnosperms have tracheids instead of xylem vessels. Okay, these are regarded as major causes of biodiversity loss. Overexploitation, co-extinction, mutation, habitat loss and fragmentation, migration. Choose the correct option. A, B, C and D, A, B and D, A, B and E. Sorry, A, B and E, A, B and D, A, C and D only. Your time starts 3, 2, 1 right now. It's an easy question, come on. Okay, here goes the answer. A, B and D only. So children, ABD, if you see over exploitation, where the humans are, demolishing or destructing the ecosystem, co-extinction, where extinction of one species leads to the extinction of others, habitat loss and fragmentation, the area where the wildlife lives is being affected, right? The area is being plotted, fragmented, and that affects the wildlife. Now, these three are very true and regarded as major causes of biodiversity loss, whereas mutation and migration, if you see, it's a natural phenomenon, right? It won't directly contribute to biodiversity loss, right? So, these are the correct ones. So, overexploitation, co-extinction, and habitat loss and fragmentation is the right answer. Next one. The lactose present in the growth medium of bacteria is transported to the cell by the action of acetylase, permease, polymerase, beta galactosidase. You might confuse between two options, but be clear. Think twice, thrice, and then answer. Your time starts now. Write down the answer in a piece of paper. Your time is up, and the answer is permease. Of course, it's a membrane-bound protein enzyme, which helps lactose enter the bacterial cells. Right. Along with permease, you have the operon also includes beta galactosidase, an enzyme that breaks down the lactose inside the cell, right? And acetylase will help support in breaking down the lactose. But the question is, which is bringing in the lactose into the cell? So the answer is permease. So please be clear with that. Bulliform cells are responsible for protecting the plants from salt stress, increased photosynthesis in monocots, providing large spaces for storage of sugars, inward curling of leaves in monocots. Your time starts now. This is again a very, very easy and a simple question. They are responsible for inward curling of leaves in monocots in order to prevent transpiration, in order to prevent excess loss of water, right? So look at this. So they are special type of cells found in the monocot leaves. What do they do when a plant faces water stress or dehydration? They lose their turgor pressure. That causes the leaves to curl inward, right? So the inward curling reduces the surface area of the leaf exposed to the sunlight. Thereby it reduces the water loss through transpiration. Yeah, so keep that in your mind. The cofactor of the enzyme carboxypeptidase is niacin, flavin, heme and zinc. What do you think? 3, 2, 1, your time starts now. And the answer is zinc. Zinc is an important cofactor of the enzyme carboxypeptidase. It breaks the peptide bond. right? This metal cofactor is very, very important. It plays a key role in what? Breaking the peptide bonds in the protein. Yeah, without zinc, carboxypeptidase wouldn't be able to do this job effectively. Very, very important. Yeah, and it cuts off the amino acid from the carboxyl end. Generally, the carboxypeptidase that does that. So, who's helping in this, making the process effective? The cofactor zinc. The next question. Read the following statement and choose a set of correct statements. In the member of Phaeophyceae, asexual reproduction occurs usually by biflagellate zoospores. Sexual reproduction is by oogamous method only. Stored food is in the form of carbohydrates, which is either mannitol or laminarin. The major pigments found are chlorophyll A, C, and carotenoids in xanthophyll. Vegetative cells have a cellulosic cell wall, usually covered on the outside by gelatinous coating of algin. So choose the correct answer from the following. B, C, D, and E only. A, C, D, and E only. A, B, C, and E only. A, B, C, and D only. What do you think? Your time starts 3, 2, 1 right now. Your time is up. So the answer is A, C, D, and E only. Of course, asexual reproduction occurs by biflagellate zoospores. True. Stored food is in the form of carbohydrates, which is either mannitol or laminarin. Very true. The major pigments are chlorophyll A, C, and carotenoids in xanthophyll. True. Vegetative cells have cellulosic cell wall covered by gelatinous algin. True. But children, option B, if you see, sexual reproduction is by oogamous method only, they are saying. No, it's not just restricted to oogamy. Even isogamy and anisogamy will also happen, right? Where the gametes can be of same morphology or different morphology also. What is oogamy basically? Where the female gamete is larger, right? Yeah. Meaning involving a large non-motile female gamete and a smaller motile male gamete. Yeah. Apart from this, even isogamy and anisogamy also will take place. So that's the only wrong option here. Okay? Yes. Match the list 1 with list 2. Choose the correct answer from the option given below. Look at the list 1 and 2. List 1, Robert May, Alexander von Humboldt, Paul Ehrlich, David Tillman. List 2, species area relationship, long-term ecosystem experiment using outdoor plots, global species diversity at about 7 million, Ribot-Popper hypothesis. So look at the options. I'll give you some time. Think. First, match list 1, list 2 and find the option respectively. Apply the elimination method I have taught you. If you find the matching very difficult, apply elimination method. 3, 2, 1, your time starts now. Your time is up. Yeah. So Robert May, of course, the global species diversity at about 7 million, right? That is what you have because Robert May is well known for his estimation of global species diversity. Right. So he's the one who suggested that there could be around 7 million species on Earth. So A is 3. And the von Humboldt equation also we saw, right? The species area relationship. That is what it is indicating. Paul Ehrlich, he proposed the Ribot-Popper hypothesis, which compares an ecosystem to an airplane where each species is like a rivet holding it together. Yeah. And David Tillman is known for the long-term experiments on ecosystem. Right, on using the outdoor plots to study biodiversity and ecosystem stability. So the correct answer is option A, A3, B1, C4 and D2. Okay, given below are two statements, right? Statement 1, in C3, some oxygen binds to rubisco, hence carbon dioxide fixation is decreased. Statement 2, in C4 plants, mesophyll cells show very little photorespiration while bundle sheath cells do not show photorespiration. In the light of the above statement, choose the correct answer from the options given below. Both the statements are false. Statement 1 true, statement 2 false, statement 1 false, statement 2 true. Both the statements are true. What do you think? Very, very, very important. 3, 2, 1, your time starts now. And here goes the answer. Statement 1 is true. Of course, in C3, if you see, some of the oxygen binds to the rubisco. That will definitely lower the carbon dioxide fixation. True. Whereas in statement 2, if you see, in C4, mesophyll cells show very little photorespiration, while bundle sheaths show very lower photorespiration. Many think that it will not show at all, but that's wrong. It shows low level of photorespiration. So that's why option 2, the statement 2 is wrong. So look at this now. In C3, photorespiration happens when oxygen binds to the enzyme rubisco instead of carbon dioxide. Thereby, it reduces the ability to fix carbon dioxide efficiently. Right? Therefore, it's true. Whereas in statement 2, the bundle sheath cells, yeah, it's often understood photorespiration doesn't occur, but the real scenario is lower photorespiration do occur. Okay, next one. The DNA present in chloroplast is circular double-stranded, linear single-stranded, circular single-stranded, linear double-stranded. Your time starts 3, 2, 1 right now. It's a 9th grade question. Yes, so the answer is definitely it's circular and double stranded. Yeah. In an ecosystem, if the net primary productivity of the first trophic level is 100x, what would be the GPP, gross primary productivity, of the third trophic level of the same ecosystem? X, 10x, 100x, 10 by x. What do you think? Your time starts 3. It's a simple math. 3, 2, 1. Your time starts now. Okay. The answer is 10x. Children, usually the first trophic level is always the producers, right? So GPP is more than NPP. GPP is the total amount of energy present at the producer when in case of the first trophic level. NPP is the energy present at the producer after respiration. Okay. So considering 100x is the GPP at first trophic level, applying 10% energy law, right? 10% energy transfer efficiency. You will get 10% of 100, which is 10. 10x. So 10x is the answer, right? The answer is option B. Clear? That's all. So hope you all enjoyed the fourth set of 10 questions. I'm coming up with part 5, which has the last, that is for botany, if you see the last set of 10 questions, which is part 5. So stay tuned for that. Until then, please take the quizzes, be benefited, share knowledge, like, share and subscribe. Ta-da, bye-bye.